Now, this is objectively, definitively, you have to answer one person. Who's the greatest president in American history?
Oh, that's easy.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln.
Is that easy? Not George Washington?
Washington had the statesman qualities. He understood his power as the first president.
Also relinquished power.
He was willing to relinquish power. But Lincoln has the combination of personal leadership, a fundamental moral character, and just the ability to kind of to fight the fight of politics, to play the game of it, to get where he's going, to play the short game and the long game, to kind of to work with his enemies, to block them when he had to, he gets the United States through the Civil War, so you got to give him some credit for that.
And he's pretty good at making speeches.
Obviously it helps that he's a remarkable speaker and able to convey those kinds of visions. But he is first and foremost a politician, and probably the best one we have.
Both at getting elected and at ruling.
In some ways, better at the doing than at the getting elected, right? That he, the election of 1860 it's just a hot mess, that could have worked out many different ways. And even the election of 1864, when we have a presidential election in the middle of a civil war, it was not a foregone conclusion that Lincoln would be reelected. So both times he sort of, he's not a master campaigner by any means, but he was a master politician as a governor.
Do we have leaders like that today? Is it so? One perspective is like leaders ain't what they used to be, and then another perspective is, well, we always romanticize stuff that happens in the past. We forget the flaws and remember the great moments.
Yeah, both of those things are true, right? On the one hand, we are not surrounded by people of Lincoln's caliber right now.
That feels like the case.
And I think we can say that with some certainty. But, I always like to point to President Harry Truman, who left office with, some truly abysmal presidential ratings, was dismissed throughout his presidency as unqualified, as not knowing what he was doing, et cetera. And then, turns out, with hindsight, we know that he was better at the job than anyone understood. Better at getting elected, right? You remember that sign, Dewey defeats Truman, right? He showed them, right? And better at holding power, and better at sort of, kind of building the kind of institutions that long after he was gone, demonstrated that he won the long game.
And some of that is the victors do write the story. And I ask myself very much, how will history remember Volodymyr Zelensky? It's not obvious. And how will history remember Putin? That too is not obvious. Because it depends on how the geopolitics, how the history of these nations unfold. So it's very interesting to think about. And the same is true for Donald Trump, Joe Biden, Obama, George Bush, Bill Clinton, and so on. I think it's probably an unanswerable question of which of the presidents will be remembered as a great president from this time. You can make all kinds of cases for all kinds of people, and they do, but it's unclear. It's fascinating to think about when the robots finally take over, which of the humans they will appreciate the most.